If you ride in New York, you know what I'm talking about. Bumper to bumper traffic on the LIE, stop and go on the FDR, cars packed tight on the Northern State with everyone trying to get somewhere 5 minutes ago. Heavy traffic is where motorcycles shine for commuting, but it's also where riders get killed if they don't know what they're doing. I'm Richard Jaffe, motorcycle attorney here on Long Island, and I've been commuting on two wheels for over 20 years. I've also represented way too many riders who got hurt in heavy traffic scenarios that were completely preventable. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to survive heavy traffic riding without becoming another statistic. This isn't about being timid. It's about being smart and staying alive when everyone around you is distracted, impatient, and making bad decisions. Heavy traffic creates a perfect storm of motorcycle dangers. Cars are changing lanes constantly, following too closely, drivers are checking their phones and getting aggressive. Visibility is reduced because there are vehicles everywhere. Escape routes disappear because every gap has a car in it. But here's what most riders don't understand. The biggest danger in heavy traffic isn't some dramatic high-speed collision. It's the slow speed crash that happens when somebody doesn't see you, doesn't check their mirrors, or just assumes that gap that they're squeezing into is empty. Let me tell you about a case from last summer. Rider heading home to Nassau County on the Northern State, rush hour traffic, maybe 25 miles per hour in the left lane. SUV driver, 2 lanes over, decides he needs to exit right now. Cuts across 2 lanes without looking, clips the rider's rear wheel. Rider goes down at 25 miles an hour, breaks his wrist, gets road rash, and damages the bike. Not dramatic, not high speed, just a daily commuter scenario that turned into months of physical therapy and insurance fights. Completely preventable if either the rider or the driver had been following proper heavy traffic technique. Rule number 1, position yourself for maximum visibility and escape routes. In heavy traffic, lane position becomes critical. You can't just ride in the center of your lane and hope for the best. When traffic's moving, I prefer the left tire track of whatever lane I'm in. This gives me better visibility of what's ahead, makes me more visible to drivers behind me, and it gives me a buffer from cars in adjacent lanes. But this changes based upon conditions. If there are cars trying to squeeze into my lane from the left, I might move to the right. If there's a car ahead that looks like he's going to change lanes unpredictably, I might position myself where the driver can see me better in their mirrors. The key is to think of your lane position as something you actively manage, not something that you set once and you forget about. Rule number 2. Create and maintain space bubbles around your bike. In heavy traffic, space is your most valuable resource. You need space in front to stop if traffic slams on the brakes. You need space beside you to swerve if someone merges into your lane. You need space behind you so you don't get rear-ended. Following distance is critical. Even at slow speeds, maintain at least 2 seconds behind the car in front of you. In stop and go traffic, that means you're still rolling when the car ahead of you stops completely. This gives you time to react and space to escape if something goes wrong behind you. I see riders constantly tailgating in traffic because they're afraid someone will steal their space. Here's the reality. Letting someone merge in front of you costs you 3 seconds. Getting rear-ended costs you 3 months. Rule number 3, never ride in driver's blind spots. This is huge in heavy traffic because lanes are packed and everyone's in everyone's blind spot. If you can't see the driver's face in their mirror, they can't see you, period. Either pass them quickly to get out of the blind spot or drop back where you're visible. Don't just cruise next to their rear quarter panel hoping they'll notice you before they're going to change lanes. In heavy traffic, I'm constantly checking. Can that driver see me? Are they showing signs of changing lanes? Are they distracted? Are they being aggressive? If any of those answers worries me, I adjust position accordingly. Rule number 4. Watch for lane change warning signs. Most drivers telegraph their intentions before they change lanes, even when they don't signal. Cars drifting towards the lane markers, drivers looking over their shoulders, cars slowing down or speeding up to match gaps in adjacent lanes. The earlier you spot a potential lane change, the more time you have to react. Maybe you speed up to get out of their target zone. Maybe you slow down to let them go. Maybe you change lanes yourself to avoid the whole situation. I've avoided dozens of potential crashes over the years just by reading driver behavior and positioning myself somewhere else before they made their move. Rule number 5, be extra careful at on-ramps and off-ramps. This is where heavy traffic gets really dangerous for motorcycles. Cars are merging, changing multiple lanes, making last-second exits. Visibility is reduced because of the road design. Everyone's focused on getting where they need to go instead of watching for motorcycles. When you're approaching on-ramps, expect cars to merge without looking properly. When you're near off-ramps, expect sudden lane changes from drivers who just realize they need to exit. I adjust my lane position and following distance near ramps. Sometimes I'll change lanes entirely to avoid the chaos. A little extra time and distance is worth it to stay out of the merge zone conflicts. Rule number 6, manage your speed for the conditions, not just the flow of traffic. Just because everyone else is doing 60 in a 35 zone doesn't mean you should. Just because traffic is moving at 15 miles an hour doesn't mean you can't get seriously hurt in a crash. In heavy traffic, small speed differences matter a lot. If traffic is averaging 30 miles an hour and you're doing 40, you're closing speed on everything ahead of you. That reduces your reaction time and increases the severity of any crash. Match the traffic flow for safety, not because you're in a hurry. Getting there 5 minutes faster isn't worth the increased risk. Rule number 7, staying hyper aware of what's happening behind you. In heavy traffic, you're vulnerable to rear-end collisions. Check your mirrors constantly. When you stop, position yourself so you can escape if necessary. Watch for cars approaching too fast or drivers who aren't paying attention. If I'm stopped in traffic and I see someone coming up fast behind me, I'll flash my brake light, squeeze to one side of the lane, or even move between cars if I have to. Better to look paranoid than to get run over by someone texting. Rule number 8, don't filter or split lanes in New York. I know, it's tempting when traffic is stopped and you can see open spaces between cars, but lane splitting isn't legal in New York, and filtering through stopped traffic can be dangerous even where it's allowed. Drivers here aren't expecting motorcycles to be moving between lanes. Doors open, cars change lanes without warning, pedestrians step between vehicles. Save the lane splitting for California, where it's legal and drivers know to look for it. Rule number 9, manage driver aggression and road rage. Heavy traffic makes people stupid. They get impatient. They make poor decisions. They take risks they wouldn't normally take. As a motorcyclist, you don't want to be the target of that aggression. Don't antagonize drivers. Don't rev your engine at people. Don't make gestures or comments. Don't block people from changing lanes or merging. It doesn't matter if they're being jerks. You're the one who's unprotected. I've seen road rage incidents escalate to violence. You don't want to find out what happens when an angry driver decides to take it out on the guy on the motorcycle. Rule number 10, have an exit strategy for every situation. In heavy traffic, things can go bad fast. Traffic can slam to a stop suddenly. Accidents happen ahead that block everything. You need to be thinking constantly about where you're going to go if you need to get out of your current position. This might mean keeping track of which shoulder is usable. It might mean noting which off-ramp is coming up. It might mean staying aware of which lane has the most space. The point is to always have a plan B. Here's something most riders don't think about. Heavy traffic accidents often involve multiple vehicles and complex liability situations. Who's at fault when 5 cars and a motorcycle are all involved in a chain reaction crash? It becomes a nightmare of insurance investigations and finger pointing. The best defense is not being there when it happens. Good positioning, defensive driving, and situational awareness keep you out of those multi-vehicle disasters. I ride in heavy traffic every day going to court, visiting clients, commuting to meetings. It's not inherently dangerous if you approach it with the right techniques and the right mindset, but it requires constant attention and active management of your position and your space. If you or someone you ride with has been hurt in a traffic accident, we're here to help at ridingcounsel.com. But my goal is to help you avoid needing a lawyer in the first place. The biggest single threat in heavy traffic riding is the tailgater. Someone riding your rear wheel who can't stop when you do, can't see what you see ahead, and puts you in an impossible position. That's why your next must-watch video is my guide on how to deal with tailgaters on a motorcycle. Learn those techniques, practice them in real traffic, and you'll eliminate the most common cause of heavy traffic motorcycle crashes. Stay alert, stay flexible, and ride safe in that maze out there.